Your Honor, what kind of grandstand play is this? We're ready for closing arguments, and then counsel parades my client's mother through here as though it was the first day of trial.
Do you object, Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, I certainly do object.
Basis?
It's too late. This is improper rebuttal. I haven't had sufficient notice of this witness.
Your Honor, Mr. Baldwin has been challenging us to bring in Mrs. Johnson since the beginning of the hearing. At first, he says that Grace Turner and a lot of my client's testimony was hearsay. Now that we've produced the witness who has firsthand knowledge, the witness who knows how and why Alice left Cassie, he wants to complain about that too. Well, he can't have it both ways.
I'm aware of the importance of this witness, Mrs. Williams, but I'm concerned about the timing. Why did it take you so long to find this witness and bring her in here? I think you owe me an explanation before we go any further.
And what can I get for you two?
Coffee, black.
Sure.
Oh, the double espresso. You know what? You better make that a cup of decaf and a glass of water with no ice, please.
Sure.
I guess I have to get used to ordering decaf now. So we have a lot of reading to do. You know, it's a good thing that it takes 9 months to make a baby. Gives us time to get ready. Oh, remember, we have to stop by the pharmacy and get my prenatal vitamins. You have your insurance card, right?
Yeah, my wallet. Oh, no.
So how does it look?
Well, I've seen a lot worse. If I could just get down...
What?
You're crowding me.
Well, I want to see what you're doing.
Yeah, well, you're gonna get all dirty.
Yeah? Never stopped me before.
I believe I was summoned.
I missed another board meeting.
You're a busy lady.
What happened?
Oh, regular scheduled meeting.
Rumor has it you had an agenda.
An executive incentive plan and the Matheson acquisition you know all about.
It's quite a coincidence, isn't it, that these issues come up at a meeting that I can't attend.
Bad timing.
Not for you and Brad. You know how I feel about the takeover.
Yes, you still have your misgivings.
Well, it's putting it mildly,
Well,
hon.
for what it's worth, I'm no longer counting on your vote.
Doesn't stop you from pushing through your pet projects, though, does it?
The incentive plan, yes. The acquisition, no.
Roadblock?
Victor Newman. The acquisition passed by 1 vote. And then Victor showed up and wanted to have his voice heard.
You're saying there was a tie? How is that possible? There's you and Brad and Michael, I assume.
Yes, Baldwin was there.
Diane. I'm sure she's gonna vote right alongside her beloved fiancé.
Diane couldn't make it.
What do you mean she couldn't make it?
She refused to come.
Uh-oh.
Your Honor knows that we have been diligently searching for this witness. If you want, I'll bring my husband in here to testify to the efforts he made to find her.
No, I don't want. This case has gone on long enough. What I want you to tell me is why you couldn't find her.
I was sick, Your Honor. I had a stroke.
So I've heard.
I was in a nursing home outside Madison. I don't think anybody knew I was there. I'm not sure how I got there.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Mrs. Williams. There's no question this woman is an important witness. Swear the witness.
Why didn't you just tell her the truth? It would have finished Alice for good.
Raise your right hand.
Finished any chance of getting the
You
testimony
solemnly
we
swear
need
that
from
the
Millie.
testimony you are about to give
I don't
in this car
understand.
now and here shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Begin, Mrs. Williams.
You are Mildred Johnson, the mother of Alice Johnson?
I am.
With the court's permission, I'd like to get to the heart of the matter. During the early 1990s, where and with whom did you live?
In Madison with Alice and her daughter, Cassie.
Did Alice take care of Cassie?
That's leading, Mrs. Williams.
A specific rebuttal of Alice's testimony, Your Honor.
Very well, continue.
Did Alice take care of Cassie? No. That was my job.
What was Alice's job?
Well, she didn't have a job. At least, not a regular one.
What do you mean by that?
Well, she'd take a job as a waitress, for example. And then 2, 3 weeks, she'd be back laying around the house, not working.
Let me ask you this, Mrs. Johnson. Who really raised Cassie? Who fed her, who taught her, who clothed her? Forget the legalities. Who really was her mother?
Your Honor, is this really important?
It is to me, Mr. Baldwin. Indeed, it is.
Honey, what's wrong?
My insurance card is probably expired.
Expired.
I got fired, remember? So, we get our health benefits through the company. No job, no insurance.
So you're saying that we might not have medical coverage? Ryan, how could you let something like this happen?
Excuse me, I have had a lot going on. It slipped my mind.
Slipped your mind?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I know that this is a difficult time for you. I just got scared. Honey, it's gonna be okay.
You're pregnant, Trish. Chances are we don't have medical coverage. That's not okay.
You can reapply.
Oh, yeah, a lot of good that'll do. Pay out the wazoo. They don't even cover pre-existing medical conditions like pregnancies. Talk about rotten timing, you know?
Ryan, how can you say that? We're gonna have a baby. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
I'm sorry, babe, but the fact is, I'm out of a job. You're pregnant. We may not have medical insurance. Don't you see the timing couldn't be worse? You're my wife. I vowed to take care of you, and I can't even pay the damn doctor bills. Let me go get her coffee.
I'll ask you again, Mrs. Johnson. Who really functioned as Cassie's mother?
I guess I did. You see, Your Honor, Alice didn't have any idea of how to go about raising a child. That was my fault.
Do you want to explain?
My daughter didn't understand all the work and sacrifice involved in taking care of a child. Night feedings were a chore, not a labor of love. Changing a diaper was a dirty job. She just couldn't see the joy and pleasure of having the opportunity to be there with the child.
Now I'd like
Your Honor?
Yes, Mrs. Johnson.
I do want you to understand that Alice didn't do this intentionally. She's not an evil person. She just didn't know It's hard to explain.
I'm sure it is, Mrs. Johnson.
Let's talk about Alice's leaving Madison. Did she discuss this with you before she left?
No.
Anything where she was going, when she'd be back?
No. Just that she was going away for me to take care of Cassie.
Did she say who she was going away with?
Yes, she did. But I can't remember his name. One of her boyfriends.
Let's talk about Alice's reasons for leaving. Did she say anything about experiencing emotional or psychological pressures? That she had to get away to get her head together so she could come back and be a better parent to Cassie? Did she say anything like that?
No. All she said about Cassie was for me to take care of her.
Mrs. Johnson, as time wore on, did you come to have a belief as to whether Alice was ever going to come back to this child that she referred to as her daughter, or did you think she was gone forever?
Your Honor, objection counsel is asking for a conclusion.
Diane refused to go to the board meeting, Jack?
Don't sound so disappointed, Ash.
Your house of cards is already tumbling down. You and Brad are gonna have to cut your losses pretty soon, huh?
I guess we'll see.
Well, you know where I stand, Jack. If Diane's deserting you, then your grip on this situation is tenuous at
I
best.
suppose time will tell. In the meantime, I can talk to my fiancée and see if I can't smooth things over.
Really? Well, Diane may be a lot of things, most of which I'm not very fond of, frankly. But one thing she's not is stupid. So your plan is to sweet-talk her into this?
Your concern for my relationship with Diane is overwhelming. Don't worry about Diane and me. We'll be just fine. I'll see you around.
Hi, it's Ashley. Have the minutes been typed up from that board meeting? Okay, when they are, I need a copy ASAP. Thanks a lot.
I'm serious, Meg. Stand back. You're gonna get covered in grease.
Oh, come on, Tony. I want to help.
You don't know anything about cars.
I can learn.
I work alone.
But I'm really interested. I could, I don't know, be your assistant or something. Any tools, stuff like that.
My assistant.
Yeah. A woman should not be at the mercy of a mechanic this day and age.
Fine. You wanna help?
Yeah.
Unscrew that cap right there.
Okay, the black one?
Yeah. Check the fluid level.
It won't come off.
Here, use my wrench. What, too greasy?
No. No. No way.
I'm sure it comes as no surprise to the court that the witness is not a mind reader.
I'm more troubled by the basis of the witness's belief, Mrs. Williams.
Why don't I cover that now? In the 3 or so years after Alice left, did you hear from her?
No.
So as a result, when Grace Turner showed up approximately 2.5 years later, did you have a belief concerning the prospect of Alice returning?
I didn't think she was going to return. I thought maybe she found whatever it was she was looking for and decided to stay wherever she was.
And is that why you gave Cassie to Grace?
2 reasons. I couldn't take care of Cassie physically anymore. It was beyond me. And when Grace said that she could take Cassie to her birth mother, who could and would give her a good life, was the answer to my prayer.
Did you tell this to Grace?
Oh, yes. I told her everything.
So as far as Grace knew, Alice had abandoned Cassie and wasn't going to return.
Your Honor, what is the relevance of this?
Because that's what Grace told the Newmans. And what you have chosen to make an issue, a phony issue. And if you're gonna make a phony issue of something, then you better believe that I am gonna provide the court with the truth. You can't hit and hold, Mr. Baldwin.
All right, Mrs. Williams, you've made your point. Move on.
You said that you moved to a nursing home outside of Madison during your recovery of your stroke. Who...
Do you want to finish your question, Mrs. Williams?
You know something, Your Honor? I've lost my train of thought. I'm gonna turn over the witness.
Following our morning recess.
Here you go. Thanks, Trevor. No problem.
Ryan, I know that things might look a little uncertain right now, but we're not alone. You know, I could always talk to my dad. I'm sure he'd be happy to help.
No, you're not going to your father.
Just to give us a hand
I said
until...
no. That's all I need. Your father supporting his pregnant daughter and me. No, thank you. We'll deal with this on our own.
Yeah, of course we will. I have complete faith in you.
Look, Trish, this day has been intense enough as it is. I can't deal with anything more.
Well, you can't just bury your head in the sand either.
I realize that.
Do you? You know, you say that, that the timing's all wrong, that you're not ready to have a baby. But when is anybody ever really ready? Ryan, I'm pregnant. And one way or another, you're gonna have to learn to live with it.
Trish.
Get up at the crack of dawn to finish the McMurray plans?
Never left.
As in you didn't go home to your fiancé last night?
Very perceptive, Miss Morris.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Diane Jenkins' office.
Hello, Marissa. It's Jack.
Hello, Mr. Abbott.
Is your boss there?
One moment.
Yes, Jack.
I really just wanted to make sure you were there. I'm on my way over.
No, don't bother. You can say whatever you have to over the phone.
Some things are better said in person. I'll see you in a minute.
He's on his way over?
To patch things up, I'm sure.
How do you feel about that?
More and more, I'm beginning to think that Jack's commitment to me isn't based on love, but on something far less personal.
How are you holding up?
Oh, I'm all right. If you'll excuse me, I want to get a drink of water.
Okay.
Chris, what in God's name is going on here? You never once got Millie to admit that Alice has been holding her against her will.
Sharon, I know you're upset, but Millie threatened to turn against us if I make her incriminate her daughter.
So that's how you convinced her to testify?
Well, I didn't make any promises, but I have to be really careful about getting into certain issues. Look, Millie said most of what we needed her to say on the stand. I mean, if she suddenly backed off and started saying nice things about Alice...
So what, we do nothing? We don't tell the judge that Alice has just been lying through her teeth throughout this entire hearing?
Paul has gone to Madison. Now, I'm hoping he's going to get proof from the people at the nursing home that Millie has been staying there and that, in fact, Alice has been holding her mother against her will. This way, we won't have to pressure Millie, and we can still reveal that Alice has perjured herself.
I can't believe this. Our strongest piece of evidence, and we can't even use it. Why is that old woman protecting Alice anyway? I thought she was supposed to love Cassie.
She does. Look, she's in a difficult position. She's being asked to put her daughter behind bars.
Well, then maybe I should talk to Millie.
No, Nick, please, all right? Just don't do anything right now.
Paul.
Paul, thank God. Please tell me you have good news.
Were you able to get through to the nursing home?
Fred and I did everything we could. I told them that an innocent little girl's life was hanging in the balance.
What'd they say?
No dice.
What?
They said that Millie checked herself in and paid with cash.
So you're saying that they won't testify that Alice has been hiding her mom there?
Well, think about it, Chris. They'd be a party to holding an old woman hostage.
Well, can't we just subpoena them and force them to testify?
I'm sure they've covered their tracks effectively. Besides, it would look like we're grasping at straws. All right. Yes, this is an unfortunate development, but let's remember that we do have Millie, and she has been an excellent witness for our case.
Yeah, well, now Baldwin gets a chance at her, and he's gonna make mincemeat out of her.
I don't know about that, Nick. I think Michael is going to be very careful about what he gets into with Mildred Johnson.
Michael, please, talk to me.
What do you want me to say, Alice? Nice move? Going to see your mother was a stroke of genius?
Look, I messed up. I'm sorry.
From the moment
How
you
could
told
I
me what you were
have
up
known?
to, I was concerned. Obviously, you were followed. Now it all has unraveled.
Well, there must be something you can do.
Please, not now. I need a chance to collect my thoughts. Find a way to turn this mess around without us both getting in a lot of trouble.
Trouble? What do you mean, trouble?
Alice, you swore on the stand that you didn't know where your mother was. If the truth comes out that you've been holding your mother hostage, we're both screwed.
Yeah, but Ma said...
I know what your mother said, and perhaps she is trying to protect you. If she does, you should be damn grateful. And you're always telling me how grateful you are to me. And now's your chance to prove it.
Okay, how?
Never, ever mention the money I lent you, or the fact that I knew that you've known where your mother is all this time. You stick to your story. Millie left. She didn't tell you where she was. Got it?
Yeah.
Got it. I need to ask your mother some questions on the stand, but I have to handle her very carefully.
Do you want me to talk to her first?
No, I don't. I don't want you to do a damn thing. You just be quiet. Let me think.
Hi. Wow, this is a surprise. We're in the neighborhood?
Not in the mood, Vicky.
Oh, I can see that. What's wrong?
You have to ask? I thought I would have heard from you by now.
About your lack of employment.
I was fired. You know why?
You'll be rehired.
When?
I can't answer that, but it'll happen.
Oh, come on. You keep saying that. I am stuck in limbo.
Oh, trouble in paradise? Too much time at home with a little woman?
I need a job, Victoria, now.
Begin, Mr. Baldwin.
Mrs. Johnson, you were never very close with your daughter, is that correct?
No, not really.
Is it fair to say that the relationship between the two of you for a very, very long time, and long before Cassie came to live with you, was something less than warm and loving?
That's true.
It's also true that you were less than thrilled with the fact that Alice wanted to adopt a child, right?
I knew what was going to happen.
You thought you would wind up caring for the child, is that what you mean?
I knew I would, and I did.
So you're telling this court that your daughter went through all the trouble of adopting this child, only to bring her home and dump her in your lap to care for. without so much as raising a finger to help. Be careful how you answer that, Mrs. Johnson, because my next question may very well be why you think she wanted the child in the first place.
How's the power steering fluid?
It's kind of low.
All right, let's give it a shot. See what we got.
Stop the car! Stop the car! Oh,
Having fun yet?
yeah. A blast. Ha.
Here.
Sure. Oh. Whatever you have to say, Jack, make it quick.
Diane, we have to talk.
Gotta do a lot more than that.
Well, that's why I'm here.
But because you're ticked off I didn't make your all-important board meeting yesterday?
Actually, I'm more concerned that you never made it home last night. Look, I know I've been a real jerk. And you've been getting the brunt of my anger, but of all the people who can yank my chain, Victor Newman is at the very top of the list.
What does that have to do with us?
Everything that's going on at the company has me so frustrated, I'm taking everyone's head off. Especially you. You're my fiancé. And I love you.
Hasn't felt like it. So this need of yours to bite my head off every time you lay eyes on me, it's all Victor's fault.
Honey, I have been under incredible pressure lately.
You can't blame all of our problems on Victor. Admit it. I mean, this attitude of yours runs much deeper.
What are you talking about?
Priorities? Just have to wonder what yours are these days. You've been downright cruel to me with absolutely no regard for my feelings. You don't treat someone you care about like
Sweetheart,
that.
believe me, this has nothing to do with you.
No, come on, how can you say that? I mean, was it something I said, something I did? Because the way you've been lashing out at me is just... It hurts, Jack, more than you know.
Well, at first Alice took care of Cassie, but after a while...
After a few months of your criticizing the way she took care of Cassie. Right?
Sometimes I criticized the way she did certain things. Sometimes I criticized her for not doing them at all.
Is it fair to say that, for example, when Alice decided that she wanted to let Cassie cry for a while, you decided that that was wrong and you went to pick the child up?
Oh, I couldn't understand letting the baby cry. Might have been something wrong.
But there wasn't, was there?
No.
In fact, Cassie was a healthy, happy child, wasn't she?
Yes.
She was a healthy and a happy child when you gave her away, isn't that right?
I didn't give her away. I gave her a chance.
You really believe that, don't you?
It's the truth.
From your opinion.
If you insist.
Were you harming Cassie while you were taking care of her?
Of course not. I was harming myself.
Did you ever think of going to a court to ask the court for help?
I didn't realize I could.
Could it be that you always expected Alice to return? Right up to the time that Grace Turner offered you the opportunity to avoid hurting yourself, as you put it.
I didn't know what to expect.
I'll accept that, Mrs. Johnson. Will you agree that while you continued to raise the child, that thought, that expectation remained in your mind? That is, until Grace Turner showed up.
It's possible.
Let's talk for a moment about Alice's reasons for leaving.
I told you, she never confided those in me.
So, for all you know, she may very well have left because she was experiencing some emotional problems.
She wouldn't have told me if she were. We weren't that close.
Or you wouldn't have paid attention if she did.
I would have paid attention if she told me that.
May I take it that you were angry with her when she left?
I'll say I was.
And you remained angry with her while she was gone?
I couldn't understand how she could do that to Cassie.
And you?
And me.
And is it, as a result, fair to say that your version of events is a result of your anger with Alice and your realization that it was improper for you to give Cassie to Grace Turner?
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Baldwin.
Haven't you painted this picture to justify what you did? To show that you had no other choice but to give Cassie to Grace?
Look, Ryan, I realize you're upset, but I don't appreciate you barging into my house.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate sacrificing my career, throwing away my future so I can be the martyr for you and your family. I'm sorry, Vicky, but I need some answers.
You'll get your job back. I guarantee it.
Oh, and in the meantime, what? I am losing it. I have got no income. My health insurance may have run out. I took your word I'd be back with the company, and I am sweating bullets wondering how I'm gonna make ends meet.
Look, I told you, if you need a loan, I'd be happy to fly some cash.
I don't want your hand out. I want my job back.
Just take it easy, Ryan.
How am I supposed to take it easy? I'm at the end of my rope.
Yeah, I can see that, but I really think you're overreacting.
Yeah, you don't know the half of it.
No, apparently I don't, so why don't you tell me, because obviously something's going on.
Broke, unemployed, uninsured, that's not good enough for you.
It's Trisha, isn't it?
Keep my wife out of
She
this.
must be really upset.
You're damn right she's upset. She's pregnant.
Well, that ought to do it. You look...
Awful. No.
Actually, you look pretty cute.
Yeah. Bet you say that to all your assistants.
Hey, I work alone, remember? Now, come on, hop in. Let's see if this puppy runs.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yep, looks like my work is finished here.
Not so fast, Mr. Viscardi.
Hey, Meg,
You know, the least I can do is buy you a cup of coffee.
no thanks. I got a split.
How am I supposed to pay you?
I'll send you a bill. Gotta go.
Sweetheart, you've got to believe me. This Jekyll and Hyde thing has nothing to do with you. I've been taking everyone's head off.
Not Ashley's. I mean, she's the one you should be livid with, giving you trouble about the Newman takeover. Not to mention trying to undermine our engagement. Oh, but no, you have to be so diplomatic. Can't ruffle dear Ashley's feathers, can we? I don't want to be right about this. But I can't put my head in the sand any longer. So I felt I had no choice but to confront you.
So what are you saying to me? What is it you want?
What I've wanted all along. It's to marry you. To be Mrs. Jack Abbott.
You still feel that way?
Yeah. But only if I'm certain that that's what you want, too.
You pick the day. We'll do it. Go on, pick the date, and we'll get married.
Trisha's pregnant? Oh my God, Ryan, how could you let that happen?
Guess what? My wife and I are the lucky 1 in 1,000 couples for whom the pill didn't work.
So how's Trisha taking the news?
A lot better than I am.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing, just that you're out of a job right now. It's not the best time to be starting a family.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Your life is uncertain. But I have to wonder if this less than thrilled attitude doesn't stem from something else.
Don't, Vicky.
What?
Just help me get my job back, please.
That's it, Your Honor.
I have some redirect.
Go ahead.
Mr. Baldwin asked you about your poor relationship with Alice. Tell us to what you attribute that poor relationship.
I don't blame Alice as much as I blame myself. Alice didn't have an easy time of it growing up. Wasn't much love around our house. Her father wasn't around, and I had my hands full trying to make a living. Well, I wasn't cut out to be a mother in the first place.
What do you see as the significance of all this?
I didn't understand it before, but I do now. Alice has never had a loving relationship. She's been with a variety of men, but she's never had a relationship she was happy in. She's been looking since she was in her teens.
Millie, I'm going to ask you the same question that Mr. Baldwin threatened you with. Why do you think Alice adopted Cassie?
So that she could have somebody to love. Except that's so unfair to the child, because Alice doesn't know how to love.
You may be excused, Mrs. Johnson.
True, Alice. I made mistakes raising you. I didn't give you the love you needed.
Judge.
But don't make this innocent child pay for my mistakes. Please, don't do this to Cassie.
Judge, please.